Hi guys, I'm going to try and show you how to get help for these virtual labs. There is one that's going to be posted, and this one is an introduction to the virtual labs themselves, and so it says tutorial on it. This one's not for credit, but if you go through this one first, it helps explain how to work the lab itself. So all of these labs have two parts. The first part is what is called the introduction, and for the introduction they have different reading frames, definitions, and that for you to do. And so in every of the virtual labs, you would go through and read this stuff first and make sure that you understand the vocabulary that's being presented. Then when you are ready to move to the actual lab itself, you would click on Lab Simulation. When you come to the lab simulation, you could see a picture like this, and this happens to be one that is good to go through because it helps you learn, for example, the names of the tools in that. And as you go through this instruction piece, it tells you piece step by step what you are supposed to be able to do. And you cannot move on to the next section until you complete the first one correctly. Now, there will be items that you need to put into a lab page when you get done. And when you get done with that lab page, you will save it to your computer, and then you can email it to me and you submit the lab. So let's see a little bit about this particular one. So the first one says, using the next button, cycle through and review the descriptions of the screen area. Okay, so we would click here where it says next. And see, it thought I wanted to pick up an item. And picking up the items and moving the labels and stuff like that could be a little tricky. So if you get that, just click it again. So I'll get rid of that. All right, so I'm going to click the next. And when I click the next, over here it says there's a back button, okay? And if you hit that, you will leave the lab set. If you need to use shortcuts on your keyboard, you could click this, and this would give you a bunch of shortcuts to be able to go from one to the other, like getting to your lab data or getting to labels and stuff like that. But for the most part, you shouldn't need that. Okay. Down here at the bottom, it says methods, and when you click on methods, that opens up, and this will tell you how you go through or reset things within your lab, and that for each of the sections. Then it tells you to be able to go on to phase 2 and before and that. And so to go to phase 2, if you are done what is supposed to be done, you should be able to click on that and it would take you over there. But obviously I didn't do something, so I have to go back, and it says alert, these steps were not completed, please finish the phase. So as you go through these, there is instructions. So at some point, it asked us to do some sort of reset, and I didn't do that, so I'll do that down here. And it says, what would you like to reset? And so you could reset the whole lab or the section that you're in. So right now we just want to cancel because it said to cancel for the tutorial. All right, So as you follow through, it pretty much tells you how to do each of these labs. Okay, so let's go. I'm going to leave this particular one, and I'm going to take you to one that is applicable to one of the first ones you have to do in this lab for this week. You have quite a few of them to do this week in class, so be sure that you work through these and give yourself time to do these. So one of the ones I've assigned you is this one on blood typing. So you would click on that assignment and it would show up. And so see how now you have your overview with all of the reading, and they want to make sure that you know these definitions before you go along. So if you don't know some of those definitions, you should click on that and make sure that you know them. Okay. And then they'll have certain things like here that say launch overview. So when you launch that, you're getting a chart, and the chart is trying to explain to you some of the stuff that you've read about. And so that might be good to make sure you go through all of this before you get into the lab simulation. So let's say that you did all of that. So you go down here and you click on continue to the lab simulation. When it comes up, you will see your lab bench, and you will probably have to do something like label or maybe move things around. Over here is the direction that it says to us, identify the lab equipment. Well, how are you going to do that? Well, over here is the list of things that you need to identify. So what you do is you would click on an object, and then you would take and try to drag over what you think goes to those things. So I picked up test sera, and I'm going to drag it over here because I think that's where it might go. And I try to click it, and then I would come here, but maybe that's not what I really think it is. So I'm going to try to take it back because I'm looking at my list a little more carefully. Because really, when I look at the words, this might be a little bit better of an example. So I clicked on it and I picked it up, and I'm going to put it there. Maybe the test sera is this set here. So when I click on them, I lift them up and I can put them back, right? So you would go through this entire thing, and when you've got it right, it will let you go to the next step. Okay, and if you don't have it correct, it's going to make you continue trying until you get this all correct. If you want to make notes for yourself, down here's a thing where you can say my notes, and you could type notes up here in this box, and it'll save it for you when you ask it to save. Or you could print them out even, and you would have notes then for review purposes for the lab practical. Hint, hint, okay? Some of this stuff could show up on the lab practical. So just to help you out here right now, I'm going to take and very quickly label these items. I'm going to try. It doesn't want to stay. There we go. So see, clicking on these sometimes takes a little delay. And you got to get it just in the right spot. Oh, where are my toothpicks? I don't see them. Oh. You can see I'm not very good at this either. You got to get them right over that orange box. All right, so now I've done all of that, and now it says go to phase 2. And it would told me I was good and I could go to phase 2. Now on phase 2, there are very, very distinct things you have to do, and you have to do them in the direct order. And as you do that, for example, it says capture an image of my blood sample. And so you would do that and put that into your lab data. And it should walk you through how to do that. So if you have problems, get back to me and I will try to help you more. So these labs are going to take you a little bit of time to get through. They're not very quick, but you need to do them because they relate to the labs that we would have done in class, and they are things that you will have to know for the lab practical. So all I can tell you is good luck, guys, and let me know how it goes. Thanks.